This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness podcast to help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness podcast, where we talk to professionals and everyday people about their lifestyles so they can live their best life. Today, we have with us a group of people. We have 3 people here from the Intuitive Living Institute. We have Arthur, Faith, and Sinead. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Arthur, let's start with you. Let's tell us about the business that you have here. That's considered Palm Coast, where you're located on A1A, correct?
Right. Palm Coast, Hammond Dunes. We are just a mile north of Toll Bridge.
Okay, let's talk about your background, where you come from, and how you got into your business and where you are today.
Okay, well, that's a long story, Angela, but I tried to make it short. It started years ago in Poland. I used to be a veterinarian. Then we moved to U.S. in '89, and it was really difficult for me to redo all the study in the U.S. So I decided to change my profession to physical therapy. And then in the middle of the program, a friend of mine introduced me to the acupuncture. And I said, he was holistic physical therapist. And I said, well, I don't believe in the energy at all, but I will give it a try. And he said, within 2 months, you will believe that the energy is real and it does exist and you can work with it. So I became an acupuncturist. Then we moved to Florida in 2002, I believe. I opened up my practice in Ormond Beach. And 10 years later, I think, somewhere around 2010, me and my good friend, Christy Kushik, excellent massage therapist from Ormond Beach, had this brilliant idea that maybe we should start a holistic center. So we had all those wonderful ideas, but then we had no physical place to open it. And then my wife actually gave me this idea. It was my daughter's horseback riding ranch, where she was taking horseback riding classes, Sleepy Hollow Ranch. So we negotiated the lease and we opened up the center over there. I had my tiny wooden cabin, and then we had the pound, gazebo, butterfly garden, 2 labyrinths. We had 10 stations, 10 relaxation meditation stations. And that's where we were doing meditations and energy work up to about 2019. 19,
Yeah.
yes. The place was sold. We had this idea actually to build the building over there, to have about 2,000 square feet of holistic center with the rooms, treatment rooms. We met a couple of times with city officials of Palm Coast, and they were afraid that we will generate too much traffic on that street over there. So the project fell apart. She sold the property and we had to move out of there to the body therapy center. But then we find out that the property was sold to the landscaping company with the 2 tractor trailers, 40 workers. Traffic was not an issue, but I guess the universe want us to be in a different location. Then we actually had to move from the body therapy center when we had our grand opening of Institute there. And we've been here on A1A for the past almost 4 years.
Yeah, 3 years now.
Yeah, and you all work there, and you're an acupuncturist there, correct, Arthur?
I do less of the acupuncture work than energy work right now. I found that the energy work actually is more beneficial for my clients than just plain acupuncture. I can still add the acupuncture to the protocols, but I love to use energy work instead.
Can you explain that, energy work?
Energy work, this is what we learned from Christopher, my mentor. He's Polish as well. He's been here for quite a few years, just moved to St. Augustine, so I had the chance to visit him. And he was giving me a lot of his instructions and a life guidance at that time, but basically always pointing me to the energy work. So when I was asking him about my business, other business or businesses, he was always telling me that they show me nothing about those businesses, but they're showing me working with the light, with the energy. I said, yes, right, sure, but let's talk about the business. No, always we were coming back to the energy work. So I found what my skills are or weren't through him, how I can tap into you as an energy, for example, and read some of the informations recorded in your centers. We call this chakras. Everything is recorded over there. We just need to tap into that free bank of the information, collect the information for the benefits of yours or our patients, and then give them the guidance and instructions. And if there is something which needs to be energetically done, we can do it. We know how to clear the energies, how to balance the energies, how to connect you to some other energies around you for your benefit. So there's a lot of work we can do.
So chakra healing can help with emotional issues, physical issues.
With everything.
Yeah.
Yes, because those are invisible for most of us systems, but visible for us. They are connected to the physical tissues. They connected to your energy field around you. Our thoughts, for example, emotional states, that's energies as well. I mean, you feel love, but you don't see it. But you know how it feels not to be loved, for example. And that will affect your chemicals in your brain, your chemistry of the entire body. But you don't see that energy. We work with it. We see it. So sometimes those negative thoughts, we see them, we clear them, we move them away from what we call the system of the 8th chakra, which is above your head, controlling your thinking process. There's a lot what we can do energetically. I believe Caroline Myss called something what we're doing right now back years ago, medical intuitive applications. So like, for example, you have a stomach ulcer, you're going to see a doctor, and the doctor prescribes you all the medicine for the stomach ulcer, but stomach ulcer does not go away months and months later. So then when you intuitively connecting to this particular patient, you're finding very quickly that the source of the stomach ulcers is not within the stomach, within the patient. It's outside. It could be that patient mother-in-law, for example, connection. And we can clear it. We can energetically disconnect that person from the stressful factors. And the stomach ulcers are starting to heal. So
Is that something common, mother-in-laws and ulcers?
Yeah, that's probably the most common issue. But it could be anything. It could be, we all connected, interconnected on this planet. We are brothers and sisters. I can tap into your systems and check, let's say, on your family members or on your friends. Some of the connections are very beneficial for us, but some of them are very draining, and you don't want to be connected to those, okay? And we know we've been very well trained how to recognize those connections, how to clear them, and restore your, happiness, basically. Yes, and yes.
Okay, Sinead, what would you like to add to this? Tell me about your story.
I'll tell you first, I'm probably the greatest testimonial for Arthur because all the things that he's saying, he's tried and tested on me, especially the 8th chakra one. So I can tell you that that's something that definitely helps, and it's real, and it's made such an improvement in my life. And I, like Arthur, I didn't anticipate ending up here. I was an Irish girl who just moved to New York on a dream and a backpack. And I went into corporate America, and I thought that was fantastic. I was like, they pay you, you only work 9 to 5. It's amazing. But then late into my 20s, I was struggling with anxiety and a bit of OCD and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, this isn't working out for me. I have more anxiety, more depression than I'm liking. There has to be more. Like I went on a sort of a search. So when I went on the search, I found life coaching. I think it was angels. I found angels first, and I thought, really like those guys, very into that. Then I got certified in angel card reading and all that and loved it. And then life coaching and hypnosis came up next. And I thought, this is me set now. I've started my own little business. I was doing great. And little did I know that I would stumble upon Arthur in the woods. I mean, so random, just this driving out into this place with bugs and trees and, other people say it was great. It was out in the woods, the wilderness. I'm like, the bugs. But I went out there and I just felt like my soul had led me there. And that was it. Then he couldn't get rid of me from then on. And we ended up doing, I remember you asking me, the first thing was for a logo, I think it was. And I'd never done anything like that. When Arthur mentioned that Chris was explaining our gifts, he had said that to me, that I should do like this creative work or logos or websites or whatever. And I'm like, listen, this is not my area. I am not a professional. I've never been trained in this. I can't even imagine. And then I did it. And I mean, how many websites am I in now? 18 or something. We met with all the practitioners and started working with everybody and helping each of the practitioners grow their little businesses, because anyone who does the training with us that becomes a practitioner, we support them. We support their business, we help them, and they use the light connections therapy in their businesses. So it's actually great. It's a great little family. And here we are. Yeah. So, and I've taken the light connections therapy training too. I don't use it as a healer the way Faith and Arthur would. I use it like to see someone's profile of maybe what their website would look like or their logo. So it's not just about physical healing. Like, you can use your intuition anywhere. Parenting. My husband's a business guy and he thrives. He's like, I couldn't use my business without intuition. So I think that's important to note, because people would assume, oh, you're going to get energy healing training to be a healer. You might not. You might be a yoga teacher or a life coach or a mom. And now here we are.
So how do we teach people to use their intuition in everyday life instead of going with the norms or what we've been trained to do since we were children?
I know programming is so deep. My sync started working the other day. It stopped working. And I kept pressing the wrong button, and I was like, wow, this programming is deep. Like, I could not get it straight that I had to turn the faucet on and off, besides the sensor, because the batteries were out. And so I started thinking about programming, and the good news is intuition is something that can be strengthened. It's like the gym. If you're building a muscle, you can strengthen the muscle. And Arthur and Faith they're the experts at this, really. You guys could teach how to teach the intuition, but we do exercises, we do a lot of meditation. And each person's different. They'll find their intuition in different ways, or they'll use it in different ways. So maybe you could tell them how you train.
Let's hear Faith.
I would say that first and foremost, you're learning your own intuitive language, how things feel to you, if something feels right, if something feels wrong, however your senses work. And so as we begin to teach the intuitive senses, we're looking at sometimes a feeling, sometimes we might have a visual of something, or we might just know that something is right for us. And there's things that we do through meditation and teaching this. But as you begin to work with it, you begin to trust, because, okay, I feel this certain way, that I feel strongly to do this one thing. And then I follow through with it and I do it. And then it proves it to me. And now I'm trusting myself. And the more I trust myself, the stronger those intuitive images come to me, the understanding of how the world works. And then I'll know all the time what is the right, what isn't the right. I'll inherently know that. So it becomes just another sense, if that makes sense.
You always live your life, Faith, intuitively?
Yes, I do now.
I do now, but previous to when you didn't, or
no.
Yeah. So tell us your story.
My story goes way back. So even as a child, I was very sensitive, and I didn't understand sensitivity. I didn't understand that what I was experiencing was energy or light beings around me. I just knew that things felt different to me. And when I tried to explain to other people, they didn't have the same experience. So a lot of times I was in trouble, right? It sounded like I was making things up, or it sounded like you're just being overreactive, too sensitive, stop that. So as I grew, I kind of had to try to fit in with the world. I had to make myself fit. And we all do. We all learn how this world operates and how to act and behave to be able to function in its world. And it's necessary. You kind of have to. If I'd have walked around my whole life just feeling the feels, I'd probably be a lunatic by now and locked up. So I had to do that. But for me, I never forgot about it. Many people will forget and leave it in the past. But for me, it's always pulled me along. Even though I didn't always feel like maybe I should trust it, I still would sometimes find myself following. And I was always very connected to energy. I understood that in a way that I don't know most people do. It just was very natural to me. So when I learned about energy healing, probably over 20 years ago now, I started with Reiki. So a lot of people have heard of Reiki. And I became a Reiki master. I became a massage therapist. And I thought, well, this will be my path now. I'll do this. And it was great. It was really lovely. I liked working with it. and teaching people how to do Reiki, but it was very structured. There was a prescription, a plan for it. You do it this way, and this is your outcome. And what started to happen to me was I started to lose myself in it. So now I was helping all of these other people, but I wasn't growing myself anymore because I thought the plan was the plan and you stuck to that. And I've since learned that that's not the case. So when we moved to Florida in 2012, I want to say, I was a mom and a wife, and my mom moved in with us, and I was having terrible panic attacks, anxiety. My husband was a very high functional alcoholic. My child was not doing what he needed to do in school. My mom was driving everyone crazy. And I was just trying to hold on. I felt like if I could keep a handle on everything and keep everyone happy and work and do my thing, eventually it will all work out. And the more I tried to control it, the worse it got. And I started to get sick. And I ended up hospitalized with blood clots in my lungs and some other issues. And I knew at that moment that this was a message. This was the time for me to make a change in my life. Right now, you got to do it. So I stopped everything and just took a minute and healed and changed my job over. I was working for someone else. I started working for myself. And as I'm working for myself, Sinead walks through the door for a massage and says, "You got to meet this guy, Arthur. He's the real deal." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." And so we started talking about energy work. And we were so excited to just find another person to talk about this with and how we were feeling and all of these changes. And so I started going to meditations out in the cabin, in the woods with everybody else. Sounds crazy. And I was like, okay. So then I booked a few sessions with Arthur. And what I didn't realize, despite the fact that I'd been on anti-anxiety medications, antidepressants, been journaling, all the things I thought were the right things to do, that there was something within me that was unique and different. And that now I understand there is something unique and different in each of us. So when that was presented to me and he could see what was happening within me, then I began to understand how to function differently in my life. And I started making my life first and foremost about me and for me. And just basically at the beginning, learning to love myself, which is a tall order for many, many people. And it has been almost 8 or 9 years now that I've been working with Arthur. And in that time now, and Chris, I don't want to not talk about Chris because Chris has been just as instrumental in all of this because he began everything, but no longer with any anxiety or panic attacks. Those went away right at the beginning. So I was grateful for that. But even family issues. So my husband is now sober 2 years. He's had 2 hip replacements. He couldn't walk at all before. And we just did a trip to Alaska. My whole family, my whole life and my whole family's life changed because of my experience of coming in and doing this work. And I had to show up for it. I had to show up for myself first. And then just by being me and just sharing my own self with everyone, not forcing anyone to change, they were able to benefit from it. My husband's not going to come here and meditate with us. It's not going to happen. But he's benefited from it. So it's just, if you allow this work to happen for you, it can change every aspect of your life. And you can understand what is perfect for you in this life, not what the prescription is that everyone else says is right. So that's my story.
Very well put. So now, Faith, what work do you do there at the Institute?
I began in here as a massage therapist, but I am more often doing energy healing sessions, just like Arthur, except that he has his gifts and I have my gifts. So if you come to him, you're getting a different type of session than you would with me. And then I teach meditation classes. I'm doing an angel workshop coming up soon. Different little workshops that we have here and there, and then we teach the light connections therapy training. So people that want to learn how to be a healer. Sinead might like to talk a little bit about that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, we actually just had a little chat about it yesterday, and we'll be discussing our dates for next year. But we're planning on, for people who would like to, maybe they do want to be an energy healer, it's a wonderful path. Also for people who have wellness businesses like Faith had, massage therapist, it's a great addition to add that intuitive aspect to your business. And then, of course, for anyone who just wants to go on a spiritual growth path, I think, would that be the best way to say it? That would be the people who would benefit the most from the training. But it'll be sort of a 6-month program where there's going to be 2 parts. So the first part will be maybe levels 1 and 2, and that will start off with the physical and the chakras and all that. And then there'll be practice period and immersion and sort of letting everything assimilate. And then we do the second part, and then you get certified. So it's a wonderful, we've all done the program, and we've great testimonials from it. People are actually intuitively living. I would say that's the outcome, right? We make our decisions intuitively. We have, relationships, we approach them intuitively, not the way we want to or the way our ego or our mind might. We sort of leave it up to the intuitive part of ourselves. So it is wonderful training, and anyone's welcome. Classes are small because, as Faith said, everything is unique to each person. So we have about 10 spaces available for each class, and it's a wonderful experience. But we're going to be chatting a little bit more about it again. We'll go to our website and you can find out more for the dates and all that if you're interested, or if you just want to chat with us about it, we would be happy to talk about it with anyone individually interested.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Okay, Arthur, I'd like for you to tell me a little bit about your greatest success story, either with yourself, changing your life, or with a client of yours without mentioning their name, that you'd like to talk about with all the work that you do, the changes that you've made.
Well, I think you looking right now, you just talked to one of the best clients of mine and the most successful stories. I totally forgot about the faith journey. Sinead was quite a challenging journey as well, and she's doing very well with our guidance and my instructions. But I have one personal, actually, a very interesting story I may share with you, Angela. This is about my family, actually, and how my family life has changed because of the Chris's intuitive skills and our intuitive skills being developed. Years ago, we used to live in a beautiful Gulf Coast community, Halifax Plantation. My wife was riding with my daughter the horses, and they kept their horses in Sleepy Hollow as well. And my wife was always a dream, as far as I know her, she was dreaming about the ranch, having her own ranch. And Chris told her, I believe that was like 2013, that 2015, you're going to have your ranch. Well, she was not really a believer of what he was telling, and that was almost the end of 2015, November, and like every other day, I kept hearing, Arthur, it's 2015, where's my ranch? So we started to search, actually, for the property, because there are certain situations at the ranch get complicated, and we had to move our horses out of that location. So we were sort of like forced by the universe, I guess, to start searching. So we were searching and searching for a couple of days, and the last property on our list, the realtor presented to us, was this less than attractive property west of Bunnell. Terrible pictures, but we said, well, let's see it. So, and we were getting information on our future ranch periodically in the forms of the visual information, house with triangle windows, 2 trees in front of the house, for example, and many more. I mean, the interesting thing is that we usually making a note after our meditations, and I have those notes. I found those notes from 2013. And then when the 2015 came, was November 25th, Thanksgiving, we stand in front of that house, and we said, that's it. This is the house we were looking for, and we were shown, and Christopher was telling us for the past 2-3 years. I was even presented with the price we should pay for this house. So my wife always wanted to have the property with no sable palms. So if she would like to ride her horses, she will need to pick up the palm fronds, because the horses may get spooked. On this property, all the beautiful palms were outside of our property. Always dreaming about the barn cat, for example, having a barn cat. So we had an old barn. The back doors going to the laundry room actually had already opening the cats, the small dogs' doors. And so now she had two cats. Everything was pretty much exactly the way she was dreamed about it. But she said, well, it's 25th of November. Usually it takes 60 days to close it. We're not ready to close. We're not ready to sell our house. We'll have to have 2 mortgages, complications. Then Christopher intuitively says that it's going to be quick closing. And we said, impossible. And we actually closed on the January 6th. Then we had the second mortgage, and there were 3 contracts before that house and that ranch, and they fell through. The price was exactly as I was shown. When our realtors started to wanted to negotiate the price lower, I said, absolutely not. This is it. Just let us see. Show me where to sign it. So we got the house, and all family loved it. No one felt sorry about living beautiful house in a Halifax plantation. So it was just a dream came true. She actually even has those letters. The dream came true on one of the walls in the barn as well. So she's got 2 of her loving horses with her, 2 cats, 3 dogs, and I don't know how many chickens. And it's so peaceful, so quiet. You can see a Milky Way. And this started actually with Chris's predictions almost. And our hard energy work at trust that don't negotiate this price lower or you will lose it. But I felt this in my heart. Don't do it. And we work also on a seller a little bit that night once we put the offer on, because the seller was more, what I sense intuitively, remotely, more into money. So I had to soften his heart chakra a little bit, bring more love into it, and work out pretty well. Second day, we got the answer. Within a week, we got the approval and everything. So it was wonderful. We could close by the end of the year, but unfortunately, human factor, one of the bankers did not check the mails coming from my wife's work and went to the spam, and we had to wait another week to get that mail resent.
Otherwise, you would have gotten it in 2015, right?
January 6th, that's still closing now. So
yeah.
So, but that's really this. If we would just use our mind and what we would like to, we won't be able to close it. We won't be able to find this beautiful place. Because first of all, we will be waiting to put our house on the market, sell that house, and transfer money to the property will be probably already gone. Yes, but this way, Chris said, don't worry about it. We find a way to have 2 mortgages temporarily for a couple months. House was sold in Halifax. Money transfer, beautiful. Everything went nice and smoothly. So
it was meant to be.
Just intuitive living, yes.
Yes.
Even a simple example, like we started to rebuild the barn. And I said, well, that's a bad time to do it. Financially, we were very tight. But I was keep hearing and was shown, don't worry about it. Put everything on a credit card. So, well, we did it. And within a couple of weeks, we started to see offers coming into us through mail. 0% interest for 3 years, for example. So we quickly transfer money to that, repay everything once the house was sold, done. But if we would wait until we get money to redo the barn, remodel the barn, the prices of the material went up to the roof. But again, that trust, do it now. But that was how it felt. This is what we're teaching here as well with me and Faith, Christopher. Everyone knows that if it feels right, peaceful, soft, loving in your heart, no matter what others are saying, go for it. Do it. If you feel tight, No matter what they're saying, how great this way is, don't do it.
Listen to those intuitions for everyday decisions.
Listen to your heart.
Yes.
Well said. I like that.
Yeah. Faith, can you tell me a little bit more about the angels, how you work with the angels?
Okay. So the angels are just one aspect of the many, many light beings that exist in the spiritual realm. So the amazing thing about angels is that they have a very, very high vibration. So when you look at energy, so if everything's energy, and this is kind of how we explain energy, everything is energy. Even on the physical level, you've got material things, plants, wood, human body, made up of all the way down to the atoms, right? And these atoms are electrically charged. So if you break everything down, it is all a component of energy. So with the angels and the other light beings that are at these higher vibrational levels, they cannot necessarily be measured by tools that we've created, but our senses can pick them up. Our physical body can even sense them. But the really cool thing about angels is that they have the ability to bring their vibration to a space closer to where we are on the physical level so that they can show us signs and symbols in this world. For example, my sign that I get from angels is rainbows. Anytime that I am even questioning what I'm doing, I'll see a rainbow if it's right. If I need to not be questioning, they will give me a rainbow and I'll see it either in the sky. I might see a picture. I might see it in the water, in the ground, but I will go right back to what was I thinking a moment ago? Oh, I was doubting what I'm doing. And those rainbows have kept me true to my intuition. So they've really helped me in that aspect. But as Sinead knows, Sinead is an angel expert as well. So, but there's an angel for everything. So there's a very complex realm of angels on a variety of levels that even supersedes what has been taught about angels up to this point. There's been a lot of talk about the different archangels through some of the teachers that teach about angels. But what we've noticed is there's more these groupings of types of angels, and they can come down enough to even give you a name, but it's not necessarily a thing that they have to do. They can show up for you however you would like to see them or however you sense them. So some people, it might be a visual, like for me with rainbows, or some people might feel goosebumps on their arms, or some people might get a feeling of peace when there's an angel around. So there's a lot of different aspects of working with the angels, but you can ask them for help, and they must be asked for help because they can't interfere unless you ask. But they will help you with anything. Anything you ask. They've helped me move furniture. Just when I've asked, it seemed like something was impossible to move. I ask for help, and then all of a sudden I get clarity about the best way to do it, the easiest way. And they will always show me the easiest way. It's sometimes not even a way I think of, but it's the easiest way. So it's really great. I created some angel cards here for people to do angel card readings. Sinead just created a beautiful angel journal so that you can, as you begin to work with the angels, you can keep track of how they speak to you, what kind of things you might ask them, and what the responses are. So it's really kind of a nice way to grow your intuition if you love working with angels.
Anything you want to add to that, Sinead?
Well, I'm an angel fan, Faith mentioned, and I have been for years, but I think I might have been using it too much for a while, but I had to stop. I took a break to use my own intuition for a while, but I'm back full force now asking them for help with everything. Like I would ask them. The reason why I don't mind asking them is because I know that when they do things for us, now tell me if this is correct, they grow too. Like the way we grow spiritually or we grow our intuition, the angels have specific jobs, and we're actually doing them a favor because then they're growing, right? That's true. And there's all sorts of angels that I didn't know about that Arthur has told me about, like the house angel. I'm getting on great with the house angel now and our guardian angels. But as Faith said, there's an angel for everything. And It's probably my favorite light connection because it's the one I probably trust in the most because I see more tangible signs all the time because I've really worked at building that relationship. But yeah, I love them. I can't say a bad word about angels.
Love that. Okay, who wants to talk to me more about chakras, chakra clearing? Seems like almost everybody out there has blockages in one way or another. And I know that when you're blocked in one chakra, it affects other things that are going on in our life. So if we
Richard, I think you're the man for this. You're teaching the class on chakras.
Let's go.
He's teaching
Very
in
good.
class. Okay. Give us a synopsis.
This is just, I guess, a summary of all these classes. First of all, we not only work on the 7 main chakras we have in our physical body, but we also were introduced to other upper chakras through Christopher's teachings. Very often we're focusing also on those chakras. I just mentioned moments ago about the 8th chakra. Most of the people, they don't know about this chakra, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, but the 8th chakra, if we would like to clear our mind and all those negative thoughts, that will be the first one I will have to clear. And there's certain ways of clearing it. We also teaching our students and members of our institute how to do it by yourself. And then when you feel like you have these terrible thoughts constantly circulating around you, you can clear it. You can either by use of some of the light energies we working with surrounding you. You can ask the angels to do it for you as well. Very often I ask them to do it if they feel that this is the best way for that particular person to clear that chakra, and they will do it. And then we have the chakras, like the most commonly I see heavily affected chakra is the second one. Some people, they call this the sacrum chakra. This one controls our relationship, our finances, our intimate relationships. Very often blocked and clogged. And diagnosing the blockage will allow me to remove this blockage. And then all the energy around you and you connected to is starting to flow the way it should be flowing, more natural, more harmonic way. And you feel better and the relationship is better and the finances are hopefully better. So we don't work on a chakra number 1. That's more experts in the Kundalini energy, a light. Most of the time we work from the upper chakras down, skipping the first one. We're making sure that the natural flow of the energy, life force coming from the first chakra will have no blockages in upper chakras. So then that natural life force will not be spread what we see horizontally, causing more of the, let's say, relationship problems if this is the second one. So once those upper ones are nicely balanced and in a harmonic state, then the natural life force will start to circulate through our systems healthy, naturally, in a natural way. But there's so many different ways of clearing and balancing those chakras. Once I do the major cleaning or readjustment, then I'm teaching clients to do this type of the work by themselves. Okay? So, it's so easy to do it, especially when you're using the angels.
It is very easy to do it. And I would like to say that part of what we strive for with our clients and our students is that we help them to help themselves. We help them to have trust and belief in themselves so that they can do this work for themselves. We don't want to have, not that we're not grateful and willing to help people, but we want to put that power into the hands of people so that they can do it for themselves, because it's entirely possible. And the benefits of being able to do that on a daily basis are unending.
Yeah, because things happen in our lives on a daily basis that's always threatening to throw off our balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's teaching. Like we like to teach more than anything. That's what we are. We're an institute. We are here for teaching. So while we do the sessions and the healing sessions and that, we're here to educate. So we want people to learn what they can learn and experience and explore their own unique gifts and abilities, so that every person in the room can be doing a meditation where they're learning how to clear their chakras and make corrections in those spaces. But every single one of them is doing it differently, the way that they can do it, the way that they see how to do it, and they're experiencing it differently based on who they are.
Mhm. So you all do meditations. Do you do any live meditations, or are they all on Zoom?
Our meditations are live mostly, but they're recorded on Zoom. And then we have a membership site that you can go back and watch all of the recordings of the meditations. You can go on Zoom and watch them live if you're from home, or you can come into the Institute and experience them. And then we have some that are ones we use all the time that are recorded on there. So if you become a member, then you'll have access to all of that. So that's kind of how our meditations work.
It's a little community, but the most important thing is that we only offer the Zoom to our members. Yeah, otherwise you just come in person. So that's the major benefit of being able to be anywhere in the world and connect with us.
So to become a member, what does that entail?
Well, you just sign up on our website. It's very easy, and you just pay $50 a month, which we figured out was a huge savings for people, because normally people who do come to meditations come a lot, and instead of paying per class, you just pay once a month, and then you've got everything you can come to for free. There's also yoga in there. We have mindfulness for children. We have a kids corner in there. So there's things for the whole family. We have what we used to call the learning library, where we've got free classes and resources that you can do at home, to strengthen your intuition. There's an intuition quiz to see what your strongest intuitive sense is. There's all about energy. There's a class on angels. So that's all for you to do at your own time, at your own pace. But the meditations, they can tune in live to Arthur on Thursday, or Faith on Saturday, or Arthur on Saturday, whichever they want. Or they can watch it later. So it's really wonderful, because I don't know what I would do without the Zoom, honestly. Because if life happens, you miss it, you can't be there on time, or the weather's bad, but we still have Zoom. So it's been a wonderful thing for people. And it's a lovely community of people who are on the journey together, and they're like-minded and like-hearted people. So we're very proud of the membership.
Thanks to the coronavirus, we were sort of forced to investigate the Zoom option for our members. So worked out pretty well. Meditations are recorded, but we're trying to keep them as fresh, as new as possible. Energetically, what's happening right now on our planet is something very interesting. A lot of energetic changes. Dynamics are huge. So for us, keep meditation recorded from even 2 months ago won't make any sense, because you should be energetically a different person today than you were 2 months ago. So the instructions coming to the participants of the meditations are different pretty much on a daily basis. So we've been doing meditations. We started at the cabin, and those meditations once a month were 3 hours long. Then we were slowly trimming those meditations to about 2 hours. Now we're down to about the 1 hour. But they are very deep, very powerful meditations, light connections actually. And they've been custom designed to this very particular group of the participants we see in that day. You can always reconnect to the recordings, but most of the time you will be almost like a participant, observer of that meditation. You're changing a lot during those connections. You're not the same person an hour later. So, and if you're doing the homeworks you're asked to do, you should be a different one next week. So my instructions should be different than from the week ago. If they are the same, that means that the group hasn't done any homework. So,
yes, we must all do our homework.
Yes.
So you took me on a tour of your business there, and you have quite a beautiful building there with all the different rooms. And I just want to make everybody out there aware that if you live here, or if you come to visit here, that you should definitely stop by the Intuitive Living Institute, because they have so much to offer there also. So I saw that, you have your massage table, and you do facials there?
Yes, my practitioners, yes, she does the oxygen therapy, natural facials, and yes, detox programs. So there is always something for everybody in here.
Yeah. Do you do light therapy?
She does, yes.
Yeah. Am I missing anything else?
Yoga.
Yeah, stretching.
Stretching.
Oh, when do you do that?
Monday evenings at 6:00, just to start the week off right with we call it not yoga, but it's just gentle stretching and getting your mind right for the week ahead. It's a very
You all teach that, or you have somebody come in that does that?
one of our practitioners, Jen. Yeah, she'll teach us. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to add to your story here today?
Well, the one thing we do have coming up that we thought would be great for the community to hear about is our expo, which will be happening in March in 2024. And last year, we just basically thought it would be wonderful to bring all of, you know how hard it is to market and get word out there. So we thought there's so many rich and wonderful and innovative ways, wellness ways in the community. And people are all kind of in their offices not knowing how to promote and how to get word out to the people. So we created this community event, the Expo, Wellness Expo, and we had our first one last year in FPC, and it was wonderful. And in fact, the community is still connecting, and people are like, I think everybody who was there had a successful, like they got clients, they got the word out, they made the connections with the practitioners. So it's like a little community now that we're also very proud of that, and we're doing it again. So that will be in March. So if anyone is in the wellness business, or if they have a desire to have a table and be a vendor, we would welcome that. So we're going to be getting started on that soon.
Awesome. Yeah. And they should just get in touch with you.
Yeah. Our website too, there'll be a page to sign up for.
Okay. We'll have all that in our show notes. So if anybody wants to get hold of you for anything here that's going on, they'll be able to. So I'm going to ask each of you, starting with you, Arthur, to give our listeners a goal in life to help them live a better life through health and fitness. What would you like to say?
Just listen to your heart.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Listen to your heart. I mean, since we work with energies, you can call those energies the way you like it, you feel the most comfortable. But listening to your heart, to us, practitioners of the Institute, means listen to your soul's guidance. Because who we really are is not this physical body. We are this wonderful light energy connected to this physical body. So that's the soul. But if you will be just listening to your inner voice or your heart, you will be actually communicating with your soul. So listen to your heart, to your inner voice. And just if it feels right, don't listen to anybody else.
Beautiful. Faith?
Well, Arthur took mine, but I'll have to come up with another one. I would say that trust is a big one. Trusting yourself. So it's similar to what Arthur said, trusting yourself and trusting the universe. The universe is vast, but when you trust yourself, you develop this kind of communication with the universe, and you know that it has your best interest at heart. There are no problems, only opportunities to grow. So keeping that in mind when something comes up, it seems like a struggle, it seems hard. If you can find the opportunity for growth in there, sometimes it's even just to walk away from it. Trust that above all else, that you know that the universe has what's best in mind for you, and to listen to what feels right, what feels comfortable, and that it's never a problem. We're really not meant to struggle in this world, and we're not meant to suffer, but we suffer when we struggle against what is happening. And if we can find the opportunities within the struggle, within the problem, then we can move through it easier. So I would say that.
Thank you. Very good. Yes. Sinead?
Well, Faith took mine. That's what I was going to say. Trust myself, because that was the hardest. That was the hardest part for me. Trusting my intuition, trusting my higher self, trusting myself, trusting my body. But if I was to add to it, I would say maybe put yourself first, because I was always the caregiver for everyone, or the fixer, or the helper, or the life coach, or the mom. And I never really figured out who I was. I never knew I could have talents to make logos and websites, for example. And Arthur used to always say to me, enjoy this beautiful day, or he says it all the time in meditation, but it sticks with me because I now do things I enjoy, and I never did that before. And that I think deepens your intuition too, because you fall into a place where time disappears and you get into these creative zones, and it brings out feminine energy and everything. So that for me was huge, just doing what I enjoy and putting myself first. I had to detox from the addiction to helping others first. Actually, Chris would say the same thing. Work on yourself first, and then you'll be more of a benefit to the world, and you'll be a happier version and a healthier version. And love your body and everything you do. So yeah, put yourself first. You deserve
I like that. I need to do more of that.
it.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been such a pleasure. I've enjoyed meeting and talking to you all, visiting with you, and I'll be coming back to visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast. To help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up.